Welcome to Brain Sprouts. Again, we are discussing depression and how to kind of overcome it. So we're going to have a little bit of fun. First of all, we have Brainy here. He's going to help me. He's going to help me play this game right here. This is a little card game. We're going to read some of these and kind of discuss it a little bit, right, Brainy? Right. So we're also going to start off with reading a little bit of this book. Yes, Key?
I can no longer see the table.
Oh. Can you see this?
I can see it, but I don't know why there's no longer. I can no longer see the table. When
That's
did that
okay.
happen?
It's a disembodied table. It's fine. I have a table down here. I'm not just, it's not floating in the ether. Okay. So I do want to read a little section of this book. And by the way, I do recommend this book for those that are maybe, can you see it? That are maybe suffering with a little bit of depression. This has a lot of really good information that can help you kind of understand maybe why your brain is going through certain things. It talks about the type of energy that you use, right? So say like I can be a procrastinator with things that I don't want to do. And maybe that's because your brain is not meant to do that, right? Maybe your brain hates to do certain things because you just have a bent for something else. And that's kind of what it means when it says your brain has a bent. So there's specifically something that I did want to read that has to do with depression and to just kind of, just some good stuff. That was gross, I'm sorry. Okay. So I want to start off here. The closer the match between your life's tasks and your brain bent, which as I explained is the thing in your brain that just, makes you go, makes you, like that's what you're meant to do in life. That's what I mean by the bent. The more likely you are to be healthy, successful, happy, and achieve your longevity potential. When the reverse occurs and the majority of your tasks are energy exhausting, your risk for success decreases and your risk increases for experiencing health problems, fatigue, discouragement, and you name it. If a teacher feels called to teach, that individual will likely hone high levels of skills in that career, be energized in the classroom, have a lower absenteeism rate, and look forward to school starting each year. On the other hand, a teacher who does not have that brain bent will be more likely to experience depression, fatigue, illness, burnout, and maybe even a midlife crisis. Even worse, such an individual may be a mediocre teacher, frustrated and unfulfilled. Meet Jeannie. She had worked for 11 years as a supervisor in the billing department of a large insurance company. While competent to all external appearances, privately and internally, she was experiencing burnout, weight gain, sleep deprivation, discouragement, and suffering from depression. Most of the time, she felt plumb out of energy. In fact, Jeannie couldn't remember the last time she had felt really good. Several times in near desperation, Jeannie approached her boss about applying for another position as postings showed up on the jobs available board. Each time, however, she allowed herself to be talked out of actually applying. "But you do it so well," her boss would say, "and we need you." And Jeannie would drop the subject. So quick aside, I used to work in a warehouse and I used to be, there's different sections. There was people that built the orders. Then there was people that would actually put the orders in the trucks. And I wanted to do that. Not only did it pay more, of course, but also because it just seemed chill, like it seemed cool. And obviously I ended up learning that it wasn't because it was a lot more work. But anyway, so as I was building the orders, I kept telling the guys, the supervisors, I'm like, what? Why don't you let me get a chance over there? Let me try to load some trucks. And they're like, but you're so good over here. So after a while, I learned, okay, maybe I need to stop being so good right here so that they feel like, hey, maybe they don't need me here as much, So that's kind of a bad thing to do, but you want to work as hard as you can, but work as hard to a certain point that they don't feel like they need to keep you there for your whole life. Anyway, so when her physician suggested that perhaps it was time for depression medication, Jeannie decided to interview for Director of Volunteer Services. She was hired, and within 3 months, even her former coworkers admitted that the position was a great fit. Her depression gradually lifted even as her energy level increased. She had stopped catching every virus that looked her way, and her weight decreased to a more normal range. Joel, this is another story, a college sophomore noted for his math skills, was selected by the department chair to be a peer tutor for struggling non-math majors. He acknowledged the honor but didn't look forward to the job. I don't really enjoy explaining math concepts, Joel said. I'd so much rather assist in the science lab. After 2 months in the math center, Joel quit, burnt out but also concerned that he had disappointed his professors and headed for science tutoring. To say that the resulting change in his life was dramatic would be putting it mildly. Joel absolutely loved what he did in the science lab, and it showed up not only in the way his life purred along like a well-tuned engine, but also in his improved energy levels and personal relationships. What Jeannie and Joel wanted to do versus what they were told to do demonstrates the concept of working within one's brain bent, or outside of it. While some might not understand that, technically most people are able to sense their brains nudging them towards where they belong, especially as they increase their awareness and pay attention to the messages their brains and bodies are trying to give them. So that's a portion of the book that I wanted to share with you guys. It really resonated with me because before I had this job as working kind of as a video producer, that's always something that I wanted to do. I love making videos. I was always a huge fan of movies. I love the behind the scenes stuff, like why was a scene put together the way this was? Why was it directed this way? What did the director do to get out of those actors, right? I always was so interested in that, and I wanted to work in that field, however it may be in sports or like whatever it was. I always wanted to work in that field, and I finally got the job. Before this, I used to work, like I said, as a grocery store merchandiser. And I did hate it. Like, I didn't like doing that. It wasn't hard for me because, I mean, I could just do it. Like, you just get through the day. If you hate your job, you get through the day, right? But if you're doing something you enjoy, the day goes by so much faster because you're not really working, because you're really enjoying yourself, right? So that's, to me, I would much rather find something that I'm enjoying doing rather than focusing so much on money, for example. A lot of people like to focus on money. For me, it's more like enjoying what I do and just living a better life. So one more short portion of the book that I wanted to share with you. It is Negative Mindset and Self-Talk. Did you develop a negative mindset and self-talk style based on what you heard people say about you or to you in childhood? Was there a lot of whining, complaining, and blaming in your home? If you were constantly told don't or can't or shouldn't, your brain may be filled with unhelpful tapes that can trigger downshifting as the brain perceives anxiety or low self-worth. Negative thinking is unlikely to solve anything and can contribute to illness. Since these patterns were learned, the good news is that you can create a positive mindset and learn positive and empowering self-talk patterns. So I like this section because it talks about self-talk. And something that I learned when I was in my depression was, it may sound a little weird, but I actually used to talk to myself in the mirror. I used to stare at the mirror and I would ask myself, is this the life you want to live? And I decided that no, it wasn't the life I wanted to live. I didn't want to stay at home. I didn't want to keep overeating. Didn't want to be depressed. I wanted to get out there. I wanted to start working. I wanted to work in my field. I wanted to study what I wanted to study. So you just got to make changes to your life. And I know a lot of people, myself included, you can put limits on yourself, right? You put limits on yourself because of what people tell you. Maybe people at home tell you can't do something. You can't listen to that. You got to be able to self-talk. You got to talk to yourself in the mirror and you got to say, you know what? If I want to change my life, I can do it. I have the capability of doing that. So that's how I see that, and I just wanted to share that section. And again, I definitely recommend this book. Extremely good book. Your Brain Has a Bent, Not a Dent. Written by Arlene R. Taylor and W. Eugene Brewer. Definitely recommend it. It has a lot of good stories like that. So check it out. What do you think, Brainy? Well, lucky for you, Brainy, we are about to play our Impact Deck card game. A lot of fun. So we are going to pick 3 random cards and we're going to discuss that. So let's see. Let's go ahead and pick out. As a matter of fact, we're going to have my producer Key help me out here. She's going to pick out 3 random cards for me. Key, please help me out.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
I think the different colors are different. I don't know what they are. They all have different things.
Okay, so I picked 3 from the stack.
Yes, please.
Okay. You got the first one.
Okay,
the
okay.
first blue one.
All right, all right.
And then the second green one.
Okay, okay.
And then here's the other one.
All right.
The yellow one.
That'll do. Let's
and
see.
you can have back your card.
Thank you so much, Key. Much appreciated. All right. Let's see. I don't know what to expect. Again, they were picked randomly for me, so this is just a discussion. Let's start with the blue one. Okay, so this is affirmations. It says, my presence is my power. Oh, let me hold it up. So you probably can't read it. It's too small, but basically, I guess the blue card is an affirmation card, which says, my presence is my power. So let's think about that, Brainy. What does that mean to you when you hear my presence is my power? To me, I think it has a lot to do, again, tying it back to depression, how you carry yourself. If you walk into a room with your head down, looking at your shoes the whole time, avoiding eye contact, it's going to be very hard to find people that respect you. That's just how I see it. Whereas you walk into the room, your chest up, chest puffed out, chin up high, looking at people in the eyes, people are going to respect you a lot more. And that's one of the changes that I did make myself. Because I used to walk into stores like this. Now, and then I changed it to just kind of giving people eye contact, smiling even. I got to that point. And just the way you carry yourself can be a power. It really can be a power. More people will want to speak to you. It's crazy because body language is huge. So that to me is what this means. My presence is my power. That's what I get from that. Let's see what else we got. Let's do this yellow one. And this apparently is reflections. It says, okay, we got a little discussion. How are you doing good in the world? How do you feel about the level of impact you're making? Ooh, boy. Okay. I don't know, Brainy. This one's a tough one. How are you doing good in the world? Well, I'm bringing entertainment, right? Entertainment is always good for an audience, or I'm trying. Well, I mean, look, where we work, Cognitive Center, right? I'm not going to say too much about it, but we are trying to help out people with mental issues, right? And that's pretty much why I decided to work here, because I do have a passion for that, for helping those people out. So I think that's part of the good I'm doing in the world. And I feel good about the level of impact that we're making here. So I don't know, that's all I have to say. Okay, now the green one, which is actions. Oh boy, all right, you ready for this one? Share something vulnerable with someone you care about to deepen your connection. Well, Brainy, as much as we have a good working relationship, I can't say that you're necessarily someone I care about. Well, no, I'm sorry. I don't mean it like that. But, I think it means like someone that you deeply care about. But no, what I will say, I think it is important to find someone you can trust, whether that's a family member, a friend, someone you feel like you can share, someone you can be vulnerable about, and don't be afraid to show emotions to people. Don't be afraid to I know especially since like for men, for example, right? It's very hard for men to kind of share their emotions. It's very hard for us to kind of just be open about things, right? We don't really talk about emotions. I know like my girlfriend is always telling me how much she's with her friends. They're always talking about their emotions. They're always talking about the things that bother them. Whereas us guys, we're kind of just like making fun of each other the whole time. We don't really open up about things that are hurting us or things that are making us feel bad, right? So I think that you shouldn't feel afraid to do that, no matter what gender you are, no matter how you identify yourself. So, yeah. So I think that's pretty good. Good discussion for these cards. These are called Impact Deck. So let's go ahead and look at these. These are pretty good. It's a good way to kind of, open yourself up to someone, have good discussions with someone. So those are my 2 recommendations of the day. I would say Your Brain Has a Bent and the Impact Deck if I had to recommend something for y'all today. All right, well, thank you for watching this episode of Brain Sprouts, and we will see you in the next one. Leave a comment down below, like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you. Thank you for watching. You can subscribe up here for more videos on mental health. For our most recent video, you can click right over here. For more information on improving your quality of life, visit pheccinc.com.